Time now for our Pigskin preview, and today we're talking to South Beloit football coach Justin Gumm, and Coach Gumm is in his first year at South Beloit. And first of all, congratulations on the new job.
Appreciate it. Excited about where the program's headed.
You know, you're a young guy to get a head coaching job. You got to be pretty excited to be able to land a position like that, because that South Beloit school facilities, that's one of the nicest places I've been in the area.
I agree. Just walking some of our assistants in there and trying to get guys hired, it was definitely a perk for us to be able to have that facility. And, like you said, at my age, pretty excited about the opportunity. Always had it as an expectation, but very eager about where we're headed and eager, like I said, at my age, to have that opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons you got hired, too. According to the AD, he wanted to bring in some new enthusiasm there.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah, I mean, I think for my age, my background, I probably have more experience than a lot of guys that are my age, but I think more than anything in today's world and today's day and age, kids like that youthfulness and that energetic style and to relate with, themselves from a day-to-day standpoint, but even from an off-the-field standpoint, too. So I think there's a lot of angles to take, as far as advantages for our players.
Yeah, and I noticed on your Twitter account, you guys get new uniforms, new helmets, kind of a fresh start for everybody at South Beloit.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal. I mean, it was, timing-wise, it worked out perfect anyways. I was lucky that, the year I came in, luckily it just happened to be the year we also were up for uniforms. But I think just overall, it kind of sends the right message that we are trying to start, a new culture, new expectations overall. And so having those new uniforms definitely helps. And then, obviously with today's day and age, we've tried to be extremely, moving in towards the technology age, and Facebook page and our Twitter page and our Instagram and videos that we've done through YouTube and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I think the new uniforms, the new helmet decals, I think all that's part of trying to get the thing turned around. And it may not happen immediately, but I think down the road it'll be something that more and more people get excited. So I think the buzz is there for sure. I think in the community now it's just getting the kids to buy into it and the community as a whole. So.
I enjoyed that video of the helmets. That was cool. That was good.
Yeah, it turned out pretty well.
Yes, it did. Last year, we talk about you only being 26 years old, but you went through some difficult times over at Jefferson with the having to forfeit some games at the end of the season. Can you learn from a situation like that on maybe, sometimes you turn a bad into a good and maybe it helps you in your future as a head coach?
Yeah, that was definitely a unique situation. I've never been a part of anything like that before, and stepping into it, 3 years ago wasn't something I ever expected, being at a 6A school. Mm-hmm. But by all means, I was on board with our head coach there, and I think we made the right decision moving forward, and I think they'll see the benefits for it this year with their incoming juniors, the sophomores from last year. So, and even some of the juniors that are now going to be seniors, I think it's going to benefit them in the long run. And from my points moving forward, I think it was definitely a learning lesson. That stuff isn't just given to you. You kind of got to earn it. I think some kids these days feel entitled that they automatically are on the team or automatically have the starting position and those type of things. And just like the real world, you got to earn it day in and day out. And if you don't, then there are consequences along with it. So I think the message was definitely receptive, and I think the message that we got from the community itself was, 80% of the people were on board with what we were doing and understood that we were doing the right thing, and that those changes did need to be made. So I think, moving forward from my standpoint, knowing that that is always kind of something that, can be a possibility. Not saying we ever want it to be, but knowing that the results that come out of it, it's something that can be positive more than anything, even though that, sometimes you do have to take a step backwards before moving forward. So, but it's not as a consequence of doing things the wrong way. So, like I said, I think it was a big benefit.
You've had some college coaching experience. How do you think that's going to help you as you take on the South Beloit job?
I think, that's probably more than anything where more of the X's and O's standpoint comes in. Coaching at the college level for basically the 3 years that I did at two different programs, that you learn a lot about the ins and outs of the game, the intricacies of offense, defenses, and special teams football. And then, from another standpoint too, you learn the recruiting side of it, which I think I can bring that to some of our kids as well, the ones that want to play college football. That, hey guys, I was in those shoes, not only myself not too long ago, but from a coaching standpoint, I know what they're looking for. I know what coaches are really saying and what they're really meaning, and what they want from an academic standpoint, from a personality standpoint, from a character standpoint. So I think there's a lot of angles there to take that from a positive, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So.
It seems like your strength is on the offensive side of the football. How will that help you as you get ready to get the Sobos in place for this season? And how does your offense look for this year?
Well, yeah, I definitely think that's where most of my background is, and playing quarterback in college and high school, and that's kind of what always my focus has been. But I don't want to sacrifice. I know they understand the importance of defense and especially special teams. Now being a head coach, that my my perspective can't always be just from that standpoint. But from our offensive standpoint, like I said, I like to think, sometimes from the college side of things, that our intricacies and our detail orientation and our efficiency of practices and those things that I like to try to bring to the high school level, I think has been extremely important. I think some guys from the college standpoint can get maybe overwhelmed and try to do too much when they go from college to high school. And so we've tried to simplify things a lot and make it simple on our kids so that they can play fast and play confidently. And I hope on Friday nights that will show that we're not, we don't maybe try to get too complicated with things, but we try to do the things that we do to the best of our abilities and to the most efficient way possible. And so, I mean, maybe that's something that we're going to hang our hats on this year. And that's not just offensively, that's defensively, that's special teams-wise as well. But I think, from a talent standpoint, I think, we do have some talent to be pretty solid offensively this year. I think our biggest thing is just depth and see if we can stay healthy. And I think we'll be okay. I think we might be able to surprise some people, but we'll see. The season's a little bit ways away still, and there's a lot of things that can happen from now till then. So,
who are some of the kids you're going to be counting on this year at South Beloit?
Well, I tell you what, it's probably a lot of kids that maybe aren't household names just because of maybe a little bit of turnover in kids, but also just we're going to be young, and I think that's a good thing moving forward. But just trying to put the program in the right place moving forward, that we're not scared to play a bunch of young kids because they're the ones that are doing the things right. So, I think some of the kids, names like, Frank Hanley, a kid that's going to play a little bit of, probably more offense than defense for us. But that's a sophomore. Our position right now is up between a kid named Dylan Hagstrom and Sebastian Taylor. Sebastian was a starting point guard on the basketball team this past year.
He's a good one.
He's a senior, so he's a kid that we're looking up to, but he can play multiple positions. And then Dylan Hagstrom, a kid that plays multiple sports, a kid that works his tail off, is a really good athlete, and a heady kid as well. So guys that we're looking to compete there. And then, defensively, David DeLuna is a guy that's kind of probably one of our staples defensively, as well as, guys like Alex Bautista in our secondary. Will be guys that are guys that are probably a little more household, that were returners from last year. But we have a mix of all kinds of different guys. I mean, Michael Smith's a guy for us that's going to be a senior that works his tail off, and is a guy we're going to count on in a lot of different ways. Anthony Hickman is another one that's a tailback type kid that we could rely on in a lot of different ways. Those guys that I've named have all been kids that have been working their stuff in the off season as well. So my expectations for them are pretty high. I think their expectations, hopefully, for themselves are pretty high as well.
At a smaller school, it's a great atmosphere and stuff, but do you have to go both ways with a lot of kids this year, or will you be able to two-platoon a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's been probably one of the bigger adjustments, not only from the college level, but from going from a bigger high school schools to a smaller high school. Is probably a lot of guys having to go both ways. Number one, our depth isn't going to be good in general, but I think just overall, we got to find the best 11 guys on both sides of the field, no matter what. And if it means that the guys are playing both ways, and a majority of them are playing both ways, then so be it. They got to be in good shape, and we'll find ways to give them breaks in certain areas and things like that, and try to rotate and sub guys. But yeah, I mean, our studs are going to have to be out there a lot, and that's on special teams too. We're not going to sacrifice our special teams just to let guys get breathers. So yeah, I think it's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So they know it's coming. It's just if we can keep guys healthy. I think that's more than anything.
Before we let you go, special teams, you talked about that a little bit. You got a kicker and punter and all that stuff in place?
Yeah, actually we have a kid that's been kicking the last couple of years for him, and he's done a pretty good job. So I think we feel pretty comfortable where we're at there. Punter-wise, field goal-wise, a kid that's been doing field goals in the past, I think it may be end up being the same kid, Alex Bautista, that's been punting in the past and done field goals. Kickoffs, we may have end up being somebody different, just to kind of have a little wrinkle there and those type of things. But more than anything, I think we have a few options there. I think something too that we still are in the process of finding a solid long snapper, which I think is always a battle, especially at the 1A level, is find that guy that consistently be good there on punts and field goals and all that stuff. So I think we have some options there. I think we still have room to figure out who exactly it is going to be and who maybe come out in those positions. But I think we do have some solid options. It's just now spending the next 26, 27 days of perfecting those positions. So.
And they give you a Dakota team to start your career at South Beloit with, and I know they've gone through a couple of hard years, but Rick Schmidt's going to be over there, a former Jefferson coach as well.
Yeah,
so you got a big matchup in your first game.
Yeah, I think that first game will be big for us. I think it'll be fun as well. Actually, Rick and I have been on the phone quite a bit. Not recently since we both got the jobs, but through the off season and things like that, we know each other, from prior experiences, and so. I think it'll be fun. I think, with the way our program's headed, with 2 new coaching staffs, I think it could definitely be an exciting game. And even, some camaraderie on staff, it could be fun in the long run anyway. So, but I think it'll be interesting. I think we can learn a lot about our team week 1, where we're at moving forward. So.
Well, thanks so much, Coach, for taking time. I know it's been kind of hectic for you, but we look forward to keeping up on South Beloit, and good luck to you. It sounds like a lot of fun this year.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, giving us some notoriety out there on social media and things like that as well. So hopefully, getting the buzz out there, we'll get some excitement for the program moving forward.
We've been talking to Justin Gumm, the new head football coach at South Beloit. This is Dave Schmidt for the StatelineSportsHub.com.